Welcome to EdgeProp Podcast, where I explore the many questions you may have or not know you have about real estate in Singapore. I'm Jackie, and today we're diving into the question of what makes a property worth buying. If you're in the phase of your life where you're thinking of buying a property, be it for your own stay or for investment purposes, listen on to the rest of this episode because I'm speaking to realtors and investors on how location plays a huge role, how to consider the potential upside of a development, and what kind of layout you should consider for your family nucleus. This episode is sponsored by SingHaiyi Group, a property developer that won the Top Developer Award at the EdgeProp Excellence Awards last year. Some of these launches might ring a bell for you, like Park Clematis, TMW Maxwell, Sora, and One Sophia, which is at the OP Centre, and Grand Dunman. So with me here, we have Jervis Ng.
Yes.
He's the founder of GNA Real Estate under the umbrella of PropNext Realty, and he's currently leading a team of 170 realtors. He's also the number one producer and team leader in the largest listed agency in Singapore in 2024. Next, we have realtor, content creator, and mother of four, Sarah Miracle of Miracle Homes. She takes a family-centric approach to helping families move into their next seasons. She has 4 children ranging from 21 months to 19 years old. Last but not least, we have Trisha Ong. You may know her social media handle as Vainglorious You. She leads a team of 65 packs. She has been around since 2013 and also recently welcomed a little one into her family. Congrats! Let's jump straight into it because I have quite a few questions I want to ask you guys. I'm quite a risk-averse person, so I have a lot of questions going through my mind when I'm thinking, whether should I buy or not? Is it worth it or not? Will the value go up in like 3 to 5 years when I want to sell? I'm sure other people might have it also, so hopefully we'll clear some doubts today.
100%, yes.
So maybe I point the first question to Jervis.
Of course,
So what is the most basic thing a home buyer or investor should first and foremost think about or consider?
Yeah, I think the first thing that you need to know is what's your intention of buying this property, right? Is it going to be something where you want to buy for staying, right? Is it something that you want to buy for investing, right? Actually, you want to go through capital accumulation first, right? Then my suggestion will be to start investing first, go through delayed gratification, then maybe later on you can consider to buy a dream home of your choice. Intention is to be very clear. This is not something a realtor can give you, but it's something that you yourself need to know. What is more important to you? You can do a concept planning for your own life. You see when you want to retire, how much passive you hope to have, how much cash you have to accumulate by then. Number 2, most importantly, is your budget. Budget is not just about the loan amount that you can take, but most importantly, it's about whether do you still have cash flow left in the bank after buying a property. Because you don't want to be tight. You don't want to be in a situation whereby, you have no money to pay for your property, whether it's your progressive payment, whether it's your monthly mortgage, and you're forced in a position to sell. Third, I think most importantly is to be able to find a realtor who has a track record and to be able to find someone who knows how to help you achieve what you want to achieve.
If there was one question you should ask your realtor is, especially because you may have a category of property in mind, right? But it sometimes may not be the most ideal category for your goals because they don't have the understanding of what the market is like and how the market is actually moving and how historically different categories of properties perform. So if you as a buyer truly want to be empowered, instead of taking an assumption of what you hearsay is good, but you're not actually exposed to the full spectrum of properties, you should ask your real estate agent to give you a oversight and overview of the entire market inside right now, what is really going on. So number 1, you can see whether they really know their stuff. And number 2, so that you can open your mind to alternative categories, right? And if you only have a fixed idea of one specific location, one specific type of property, then you may also not lose out, but you may also miss some other opportunities or other options that you can do with your money. So do the goals first and then ask, okay, so based on my goals, can you share therefore what's the market overview so that I have more options? Because I always believe that the more options you have, then you can make a wiser choice.
The education part is the most important. At different market cycles, different assets move very differently. And as a first-time buyer, you would want to understand that the very first stage is always building discipline. So building discipline is also looking at your assets, at your current budget, your personal readiness. How far are you willing to go to put your funds, your existing funds, at the expense of your own personal gratification, holidays, lesser holidays, no more Hai Di Lao.
High five without fish.
Correct. It's a process of building discipline. And to build discipline, you want to be very clear about which asset class you want to go into. But you have to see the property like it's a bank. You put money, you put cash in the bank, you can take out.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And again, going back to building discipline, that financial journey of being to afford that thing that you want is going to take time. As a buyer, you need to really be super realistic. Is that within my budget, this is what I can do. But let's say I have a plan to change houses in 2 to 3 years. What do I have to do now so that the 2 or 3 years older version of myself can afford the thing that is really my dream? And if that means, for example, building capital first, increasing your income, getting jobs, starting a new business, like, you have to go for it, man.
Yes, 100%.
I always hear people say, like, location is king. There's only so much land in Singapore that you can buy. The most common thing to look for is if it's near MRT stations,
100%.
if it's a central location. And I think for parents or like would-be parents, you would think of your children. So you would think of the primary schools that are
100%.
around.
People usually want to buy into the area of familiarity. Otherwise, aspirational district where they want to move upwards to.
Upgrade.
So central is always where the youngsters who want to live in. Usually buyers who come to us, the location where they tell us they want to buy is either there will be family members staying nearby, or else it will be nearer to their workplace, or that area is where they want to live in for long term.
Would you advise your client, even though this is a familiar area, maybe you want to try somewhere else where the property is of better value?
Yes. Yes.
Definitely.
I never knew that location was important to me until now. I'm expecting my daughter, right? I'm thinking like, what primary school to send to? It's like 7 years later, you know what I'm saying? So now the properties I'm looking at must be 1 km radius to a good school.
I mean, going back to the thing about children is that actually it's also just about like accessibility, because if it's not accessible or the journey is too long, the kids are going to take more than 1 hour or more than 45 minutes. It's going to be a pain for the children because they're so tired. Travel time in Singapore is all accumulative, right? One way there is actually 2 ways, right? So actually every 15 minutes difference is actually a half an hour difference.
Yes.
Back and forth. So, and especially when you have CCA and things like that for older children, that's why location for a lot of people in the end become so crucial for families, because it just adds up to your children's like stress time where they're not having rest at home. For my older girl, we actually moved. We were usually in Queenstown. She's in MGS, and when we moved to a rental at Bukit Timah, and when we got that rental at such a good price, I just in faith we stood the landlord. I'm going to be here for 3 years to make sure she finished her O-levels. And Bukit Timah to MGS at Beauty World, it was actually 15 minutes door to door from walk out the house to the school classroom. Crazy, right? So I think that's why location, no matter what age, whether it's getting into school or even like older kids and things like that, is super key to help us reduce our stress in life. As the seasons change and as the kids change, the location requirements also change.
Transportation is important.
Yeah, super.
If I stay in the middle, I don't need to go to my friend's house.
They come to you.
That's zero transport.
How does location affect the exit strategy? Does it actually affect?
Because traditionally you would think that, core central or core would be getting better yield, better profits, better whatever. But I think we have seen in the last few years that this is really not the case.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that actually the outskirt, like you were saying, no MRT also can make more money than the one next to the MRT. Right? Your East Coast side can make more money than Bukit Timah. Right? So it's really now the entire Singapore, the scene has totally changed such that there are people who are like very hyper local and are willing to pay a premium for those localities that they're familiar with, that they believe in. And so in a sense, actually there's a lot of opportunity everywhere if you know how to choose correctly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What do you mean by know how to choose correctly?
There's so many opportunities in the market right now that you can consider. The rental is actually not as high as what we think, right? 2 to 3%. 3% is quite good already, actually. But then why are still people buying, right? It's actually for capital appreciation, right? So I think the question that we got to ask ourselves is, why at the genesis, why are we asking this question, right? Why is rental that important to us, right? I think if we were to buy a property with the perspective of, wanting to be a landlord, renting it out, fun fact in Singapore right now is not easy unless you do co-living and you do a lot of the kind of partitions, right? While also ensuring that you accommodate to the rules, right? Is that you're not going to get positive cash flow from a rental. So having a 4-year flip may make more sense about that. Yeah.
Okay, I think Trisha should give like 3 key points if she wants to choose the right property.
Yeah, and she has been very profitable in her choice.
Points. I think look at the exit market of where you're going to buy. Because if you are going to buy a 3-bedder,
I'm looking at 2 bidders.
And then you need to ask yourself, in the area where you want to buy, is there any absorption for 2 bidders? Who exactly is going to buy from me? Then number 2, your entry price. How much are you going to enter? If you're going to buy a resale property, you will need to understand, again, back to the market cycle, exactly which part of the market cycle are we at right now? Is resale properties really priced in at a premium due to the high new launch prices? So you can imagine the day that comes when you move in with all your furnitures.
Yeah.
People will stand at the corridor and clap for you because you just raised the prices, right? Yeah, but whether you're able to exit fast is another thing. The third thing I would say, again, go back to your personal readiness then.
Yeah.
Look at the current life cycle you're at. If you're at building discipline, then don't hold back. Don't think about your holidays anymore.
Yeah. See, bye-bye.
Treat the property really like a bank.
Yeah.
You know? And then if you feel that you are entering a little bit too high for the premium because, resale home, you see, you fall in love, you really love it, and then you're going to be the person who's going to pay the top dollar for it. Then is there any strategy that you can deploy to make sure the money run a longer mile for you?
Yeah.
Because today you put cash in the property, you take back cash. But if you put in CPF, then you need to consider the compounded interest that you are losing out.
Wait, so are you telling her that she should use less CPF if she can?
That's what I'm understanding.
Please do.
Perhaps, yes.
To me, it's like when I'm entering a new launch, the PSF is at its lowest,
Yeah.
right? And then when I buy a resale, the prices already go up.
If you're truly looking at real estate as an investment vehicle, looking at rental income from a resale property is only one perspective. That's what we're trying to say, right? Because there are other perspectives. For example, flipping a new launch after 4 years, right? That may actually, after apples to apples, you compare the actual cash that you gain. Actually, you may find that flipping a new launch may have a better result, right?
Trisha also rented to buy a new launch, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I get it when people say, rental is not my home. The day when I received the keys to my very first home, I cry because that is really a proper home. But now looking back, it makes sense for me to rent for that good 4 or 5 years. Because during this period of time, if you work out the math, the capital appreciation of my large asset class, which is a 5-bedroom condo, makes sense for me to hold out and rent so long to wait for this new launch. So
very good.
to a buyer like yourself, if you're staying with your parents, I would say bonus. You should go for a new launch. If you don't need to buy straight away, bonus. But then if you need to rent to buy, if the math makes sense, then okay, go ahead and rent.
And if your conviction is that it is worth it because the capital gain far outstrip the cost of the rental, then by all means, do it.
So I mentioned earlier in this episode, SingHaiyi has quite a few launches in the market right now. And one of the very hot launches is also Grand Dunman, located along Dunman Road. It's a 2-minute walk from Dakota MRT. So for me, it's a huge plus point. It's also one MRT stop away from PLQ, and there's also SingPost and Paya Lebar Square there. So there's a huge shopping and dining options over there.
Very convenient.
But for those who drive, it's about 7 minutes drive to Marina Central, where there's Suntec City, Marina Square, Millennium Walk. So it's not just dining options, you also have shopping options and entertainment options. Even though the project is right next to the MRT, I think it's quite rare for a development to have a 1-to-1 car park ratio, that they built like a 3-story basement car park for their residents. So I think that's quite nice. At the doorstep of Grand Dunman, you also find a park connector. So it's great for if you want to bring your family out for a quick night cycling, or not night cycling, day cycling. Bring your children out for day cycling at the East Coast Park. Or during National Day, there's also fireworks, so it's pretty near to it. I think children enjoy it. It's part of their childhood. So speaking of wellness, if you don't want to go out of the development, they also create spaces that encourage residents to connect with nature and community. 50-meter lap pool, jacuzzi pods, and they also have a hydro massage pool, which then you don't have to go out and go for onsen, right?
Oh wow.
Just now we mentioned about schools. That is an important factor when you think about your children. And Grand Dunman is 1 kilometer away from Kong Hwa School. And that's my alma mater. I was from there. So I grew up in the east, and it's also a 5 minutes drive to Dunman High. When I grew up there, what I really like about it is it's very near Old Airport Food Centre.
Yes, very.
I went back recently and it feels a bit cleaner.
Yeah,
there's
way cleaner.
better ventilation, but
Way cleaner.
but still have the nostalgic vibes.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind staying there again. There's also other schools like Chung Cheng High Min, and also another primary school is Tanjong Katong Primary. Quite a few options if you are planning to have your kids enroll to the schools. The fittings that Grand Dunman offer is gassy, collar, melee, and a Vintech wine chiller. But for me, what is most interesting is there were individual steam rooms right at home. We'll look at the 5-bedroom unit layout, and I don't really know how to read layouts. Maybe you guys can tell me what is good about it. Maybe what kind of family nucleus would suit to buy this kind of layout or stay in this area.
I think the room sizes stand out to me. Yeah, like the junior master, master bedroom, and bedroom 3 all look quite large.
The balcony area can be converted into alfresco dining, but you need a customized dining table because it's a little bit elongated. Then your living hall will be very big, right? I think privacy-wise, great. Junior master at the corner, you have a walk-in wardrobe there as well. His and hers. That's really good.
Yeah.
I think one appeal is definitely you have a store and a household shelter. So you can have a helper's room, and then you also have enough storage area, right?
I immediately look at how many people you can hold in this space. And for 3 en-suites, I think it is really great because even in landed homes at the current price of this property, you probably wouldn't be able to get such a large format living and dining space. You're looking at something much older. When I'm talking about within this district, D15 itself, and then that would be 2 stories only. You have 1 room downstairs and then 3 rooms upstairs.
Yeah.
You do not have 5 rooms with 3 en-suites. That's
Agree.
one thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for people who know, I mean, this is honestly a sandwich product. You can, the buyer can buy a landed home.
Yeah.
But if the buyer do not have cash to buy the landed home, then do maybe 500,000 to 600,000 kind of A&A work to improve the structure to make it more livable.
Yeah.
Then this large format living actually becomes a luxury
Agree.
for the
Yep.
buyer to consider.
Yep.
Yeah, I find that this is a great product that we do not see 5-bedders at this size anymore because
Correct.
right now we enter the era of GFA harmonization.
Yes.
Yeah.
5-bedders will just get smaller and
Smaller and
smaller.
smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this will become a unicorn product.
So I think the whole configuration is definitely towards like someone who's a multi-generational format who has more children or even parents staying with them.
Yes.
Right? And they don't want to have the stairs of a landed house, which because that's very hard for the parents. And sometimes because the granny suite on the ground floor of a landed is a bit too small and make you feel like, it's very constrained. Doesn't have an ensuite usually attached to it, right? It will be a shared common or something, right? With the terrace there. Whereas here is like, you can have your parents in one side, right? They have their own private space in a sense that, don't interfere too much, but they have their own life in a way. And then on the other hand, you can still have 3 more children.
Yeah.
Yeah. So parents plus 3 children, wow, wholesale. Yeah. Or if you have 4 children like me, then just nice.
And I just saw something.
Yeah.
For a family buying this kind of size, usually they'll need 2 helpers. And I realized there's a store and there's a HS.
Yeah, household shelter.
Yeah, so I technically can have 2 helpers,
Can.
which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then why your bathroom become the storeroom? That's what happened to my house now. One of the bathrooms. Because I have no store in my house.
Thank you very much, Sarah, Trisha, and Jervis,
Pleasure.
for your
Yeah.
perspectives today. And I really learned quite a lot about my journey towards buying a house or how to start having the journey. So, as a mother of 4, what
It's
would
crazy,
you
yeah.
what would you tell people about your journey? Like, what is the most impactful lesson that you've learned?
I think the most important thing is to have alignment. Yeah, I mean, together with your partner, your husband, or if your future boyfriend, your fiance, then as a team, your collective finances and your collective lifestyle, your collective goals should be aligned towards that bigger picture.
Agree.
But if you're not aligned, let's say somebody wants to go for holiday more often,
Yeah.
and somebody's like, no, we need to be saving towards the house, right? I can't spend 30K to go to Europe,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Like
true.
every 10K is like a big sum that goes towards, right?
The down payment.
The next down payment. So I would say that marriage portion and the alignment with your spouse is the most crucial thing that you should first settle before you even go buy a house.
Agree.
Settle your season, settle your goals, settle your purpose and your vision.
The property should serve you for your, not only for your today, but also for tomorrow. Think long term.
Yes.
Look at your personal readiness. Can you do long term goals?
Yep.
So the property serve not only today, but tomorrow.
Actually, you mentioned your family bought at Grand Dunman, is it?
Yes, my brother-in-law.
Oh, your brother-in-law.
So they bought a 4-bedder with a private lift. There is unblock facing the fireworks because the daughter, fireworks. And then for the school as well, Konghua. And for both parents, even though they drive, they work in the CBD, parking is expensive.
Yeah, take
So
MRT.
for them, it's a bonus that
Right.
the MRT is just right at the doorstep.
Yeah.
And because we do not have caregivers staying together,
Yeah.
they are in a separate location, then commute would be very important for the elderly. It has to be safe. And then they are thinking long term as well. What we actually look at as a family was the transformation,
Yeah.
a long term transformation, because it was so near to Kallang.
Yeah, wow.
Kallang side.
yes.
So the drive is like, short drive, you
Yes.
drive
yes.
fast lah. Short drive,
Drive
5 minutes. You won't reach there.
Yeah.
And then after that, you have the Long Island, which is the East Coast side lah.
Yes,
So
yes,
even though Grand Dunman is not so near to the East Coast, but also considered near to East Coast.
Yes.
Put it that way,
Yes,
Paya Lebar East
yes.
Coast.
Yes.
Yeah, so it actually benefit from a lot of points lah. That's why we thought, okay, even though it might be a premium, you enter high floor, it's worth the premium. All
Agree.
these points considered.
Right.
Agree.
He's staying with who?
Just husband, wife, and then one daughter. They just welcome one today. So
Oh.
after this, we also going to the
newborn.
Yeah, newborn. So two
Second
daughters,
one.
second one, and then one helper.
Okay.
Yeah, so they actually think far.
Still thinking
Yeah,
for their
still thinking
future
further.
kids.
Yeah.
Okay. Konghua is a very good school.
Agree.
As you can tell.
Now it's very good.
Now it's
So
very
hard
good.
to enter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much for being here.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed the episode. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.
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 Well, that's certainly a lot to take in, and I do hope that you got something out of it. To summarize, what Jervis, Sarah, and Trisha mentioned is that, first and foremost, you do need to have discipline, and you should start young if you can. Secondly, you need to consider your family needs. For example, whether you're intending to have children and what the future plans for them are. Of course, transportation is also key. It is not just for yourself. It is also whether there's a convenient transport option for your kids to commute to school and whether there's a safe transport option for the elderly. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of EdgeProp's podcast, and we'll see you next time.